Yo, yo, get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Bears! Welcome back, Bears Nation, to the most exhilarating episode yet of Monsters of the Madhouse. I'm your boy, I'm your host, Brandon Trackside, and tonight the energy is through the roof because we're got some really big news, massive rumors, and some game-changing speculations that we just want to just dive into. So let's get into it, folks. With me tonight are my co-hosts, the one and only, the B. Ryan. What's up, Brian and Dano? How you guys doing? Welcome to the Madhouse, fellas.
What's going on, man? Getting ready to get the weekend started. I got a 3-day weekend because of President's Day we got off, so we're ready to rock and roll. Let's go.
Happy Valentine's Day, my sweeties.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm doing good.
Don't say that too loud. I want my wife to find out.
I'm doing good other than it being cold.
Yeah, aren't we all? Well, guess what? We got to get the show on the road so this news isn't old because we got to drop it like it's hot and drop it fast and furious. So here we go, guys. Woo!
Let's
Brian,
go.
I'll tell you what. These two mystery guests that we have tonight are freaking unforgettable. This is going to be a Friday night with Brian and Dano. It's going to be so great. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Grab your favorite Bears gear, and let's get into this, and let's get the party started. Contestant number one behind the freaking drapes. We have a guy named AJ, Aaron Jones. He's first up. Let's talk about this guy who is on the Chicago Bears radar, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're going to think about this right away, about how he wore the puke green and the yellow. Ridiculous, right? Most notably, he was with the Vikings in Aaron Jones. This man could redefine what it means to be a Bears running back. It's been a while since we had a guy in the building that ran as good as this guy. Coming off a season with the Minnesota Vikings where he amassed over 1,100 yards rushing, not to mention his 400-plus receiving yards. And you know he shared the rock. It just wasn't a one guy. It was a 1-2 punch over there. So we're looking at a dual threat who could turn our offense into a nightmare for any defense in the league. Standing at 5'9", 208 pounds, the 30-year-old from UTEP, a one-time Pro Bowler, he scored a 76 PFF grade, placing him in the top echelon of the NFL running backs. Imagine him slicing through the defense with his 4.5 yards per carry, adding the explosive playmaking ability we've been craving. His versatility in the passing game, chef's kiss, guys. Would you want this kind of dynamic guy in our backfield? What do you say over there, Brian? Let's start off with you leading off, buddy, since you're our new guy, man.
I'll just put it this way, short and sweet. He's been terrorizing the Bears for years. How about putting him on our side for a change?
Now, hey, to your point, to be fair, it hasn't worked in our favor. We've had a few guys who we've brought from the enemy domain over to the friendly side of the ball, and I think they've got something like up their sleeve where they just want to spike the punch, if you know what I'm saying. But maybe this could be the outlier. Maybe this could be the outlier because he went from Packer to Viking to Bear. I don't know. What say you, Dano? What do you got to say about contestant number one, AJ, bro?
I don't know, man. I hate to be the party pooper, but before you hyped him up like that, it might change my mind, but I think it's a little bit too much like DeAndre Swift. I think we need more of a workhorse running back. Also, the draft is real heavy with running backs this year, so I'd like to see us go with a little bit younger back and more of a in between the offensive line, between the guard running style.
Well, I will tell you this much. There was a guy in Rosine, Matt Mostersart, or whatever the heck you say his name. I murder these guys' names because they can't just be called John Smith or something, or
Right.
Brian Henderson, or Daniel Blakes, or Brandon Hyatt. They got to be fancy, okay? My name is so vanilla-esque, so boring, so bland. I had to throw tracks in the middle to make it exciting. These guys, I feel bad if they ever watch a show. They're going to punch me right in the throat. Go see Mostert. That's your name, buddy. Hey, he just got dropped from the freaking Dolphins. What say you? I want to do a show about this, by the way. I want to do a running back show. I really want to dive deep into this. And I won't go too far because we got another gentleman behind, curtain number 2. But I will say this. I like your logic, Dano. I'm not saying that we stop there. If we go get a guy who's a little bit older, okay, definitely need our due diligence. Get a guy in the 5th, 6th, 7th round running back, couple him with the veteran, couple him with Swift. I don't know how long. I think Swift just signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't see him leaving anytime soon, and he did really good with Ben Johnson. Make no mistake about it. He had like 1,400 yards rushing, and then he had so many yards receiving. I think it was probably the same as this guy. He did really good. The only difference is they had a guy in Jamar Gibbs that they wanted to get. They didn't want to go lightning. They wanted to go lightning thunder or Sonic and Knuckles. So they went out and they got our guy Montgomery because they wanted to pay him a little bit more. And what did he do? Charged right down the freaking pipes of the freaking red zone and got a bunch of touchdowns and stuff. It worked out great. So that was just one of those things where he moved on, business decision, whatever. That does not mean that he can't stand the guy and he's not going to use him. If he's under contract and he can use him, I'm sure they're going to work it out as professionals do, and it's going to work all right for Swift. Not saying, again, he's my guy, Dano, and, whatever, but at the end of the day, we really can't get too in love with any of these running backs, fellas,
Right.
unless you get a guy like, Saquon Barkley, then fall in love with that guy. Right, Brian?
Right.
But any of these other guys, for me, they could be serviceable, they could be good, but don't fall in love with them, especially when you do them by committee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah. But I do, like I said, I like this guy, and to Brian's point, he said it perfectly, eloquently. He's been terrorizing us. If you can't beat him, sign him, right? That's
bingo. Now, to get what Dano says, I agree with him. With this draft being as full as it is, I mean, deep. Me personally, because you got Swift, I would like to draft a bigger back. The bell cow, so to speak.
The workhorse.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, this Bears team, as us fans, we kind of look at it with rose-colored glasses, and we overhype guys. Aaron Jones, he would help any team. But
I agree. I agree with you.
Chips.
Yeah, I did not know that he was going to fit in that well with the Vikings. I was shocked that he went to the Vikings. And honestly, I'll be shocked if the Vikings let him go. I thought he did that good.
Let me ask you this, Trax. How old is Aaron Jones? Do we know?
30.
Is
He's
he
30.
Is he near 30? That's the other thing, man.
30 years old. I'm good.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm at with the 30.
Yeah.
You're on the wrong side of 30, but you're not too far on the wrong side of 30. I think I could still get you for a couple more years.
Yeah.
If you just only signed a 1-year deal with the Vikings, I'll give you a 1-and-1 deal or just a straight up 2-year deal. And that way I can let my rookie, who you're talking about, maybe Martinez, maybe another guy, groom underneath Jones, groom under Swift, and then 2 of them clear house about the same time. And then my rookie's ready, and then rinse and repeat, grab another guy in the draft in another year or 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can be talked into that.
To add something to that, while Jones was in Green Bay, didn't he split reps with Dillon and another back?
Yeah, A.J. Dillon, yep. And
Oh
A.J.
yeah.
is a
So he's
monster
still
of a
got
man.
he's still got some tread on the tires, even though he is 30.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, for sure, 100%. I like I said, to this day, I'm just floored that the Packers got rid of him. I thought he was a good. Hey, I was glad. I was like, thank God, thank you, baby Jesus, you know. And then
Yeah.
Josh, and then the Bears. I wanted the Bears to get Josh Jacobs, and then he goes to the Packers, and I'm like, well, Aaron Jones just left, and they went and got Josh Jacobs, and I'm like, come on, man, why?
Dude, can you imagine if they would have had Jacobs and Jones in the backfield? My God.
Bro, bro, bro.
Well, that may not have been a bad thing because of the cap.
Yeah, yeah, true. But for some reason, the Packers just seem to find players pull them out of their ass, and develop them well.
No, you're right. They've got a way of doing things. There's very few times that I've seen where they've made those crucial mistakes that we could capitalize on. We're like, yes, we're playing against that guy today. You know what I mean? I will
Yeah.
tell you this though, I'm not. I haven't given up on Jordan Love in terms of kicking our butt, but as of right now, he has not. We kicked our own butts in times where, you know what I'm trying to say.
Like
So
6 times this year, we kicked our own butts.
yeah. Oh no, yeah. But guess what? We're 1-0 against the Packers in 2025,
There you
baby.
go. There you
Hopefully
go, brother.
about to be 3-0 in 2025
Let's
and
go.
possibly 1-0 in 2026 in the playoffs. Let's see what happens,
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go, buddy. Let's go. So, anyways, by the way, Mr. Brian, very nice jersey. I love it, buddy. I love it. Very
I
nice.
should have worn my Peyton jersey.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to celebrate my debut, and
There
you
you
can't
go.
go wrong with Peyton.
No, you can't
No,
go
never.
wrong with wearing the Goats jersey for your debut. That's a smart decision for sure.
And I'm old enough. I remember when he was drafted, and I was blessed to be able to see his whole career.
There you go. I didn't get to see him until towards the end of his career, but I did get to see him a little bit.
I first started seeing him on Madden, and then, or not Madden, Tecmo Bowl. And then when I saw him on Tecmo Bowl, I said, dude, I got to watch this guy on the television. If he's as good, and then there was Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders and Christian Okoye. And I'm
Bo
like,
Jackson was a cheat code.
dude, I said, let me start watching this freaking thing called football instead of just playing it on the video games,
Heck, I can go back as far as Larry Zonka.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what's funny about Larry and those guys is the crazy thing is everybody talks about Marino and you forget about running backs back in the day like that because of Marino. That's how good Marino was. That made you forget that the Dolphins actually had some bona fide freaking running backs way back in the day,
Yeah, right.
So
Who else we got behind these curtains, man?
Yeah, so the second curtain, dude, we got a guy, never trust a guy with two first names, okay? You got to get a little worried about this, okay? Tim Patrick, all right? The reliable target. But wait, the excitement doesn't stop there with the reliable target. That sounds so exciting. But in all reality, a reliable target would just make us salivate because we've got guys like Velus Jones. We've had guys that have had 19 targets in 3 years who were like, okay, well, how come we didn't use him? There's probably a reason why he's just a returner and we didn't ever use him after we, drafted him from Cincinnati Bobcats. There's probably something behind this, you know what I mean? So here's the deal. Tim Patrick, 6'4", big target. I like it. 212 pounds, behemoth at wide receiver, who's already familiar with our new head coach, Ben Johnson's playbook from his days in Detroit. This past year was, mediocre, 400 yards receiving. But guess what, dude? Humble veteran, had to share the rock with a bunch of freaking guys, okay? Bunch of guys. The ball was distributed everywhere, okay? And he comes at you with a humble contract, too. He's got to prove his worth, right, boys? His prime was in 2021. Don't fall asleep. I'm sorry. Uh, with the
700,
Broncos.
700 yards.
Yeah, he had 734 yards, 5 tutties, 67% PFF grade. Last season speaks volumes with his reliability, though. And with Keenan Allen's hefty contract leaving the building, Patrick could be the cost effective, high impact signing that we need. Using that money to allocate elsewhere, maybe draft a guy, whatever. However, the chips may fall, this is a guy that could help scratch our itch and put him in there because, as you could clearly see, we didn't need a guy that gets 17, 18, 20 million in Keenan Allen. In a few weeks, he was gone. He was MIA with the heel issue. You know what I'm saying? Now, when he was in the building, he was one of those guys where Caleb threw him the ball. He trusted him. He knew they had a comfort level. That was great. That was good. But that doesn't mean you can't find that in a guy like Tim Patrick, you know. His size, his hands, his experience, all the intangibles and invaluables in mentoring a young receiver and providing Williams with a target in the end zone. Are you ready for this, Bear Nation? Are you ready for a guy like Tim Patrick, or did I all put your butts to sleep? I'll start with you right up on top, Brian. What do you think, brother?
I got 2 things to say about Tim Patrick.
Okay.
Number one, I looked at his RAS score coming out of college.
Okay.
9.62. 10 is perfect.
Okay.
Also, and I want to give a shout out to my buddy Samo. Samo last year pounded the table a month before, or the year before, I'm sorry, getting Sweat. And you see what an impact Sweat made to the Bears. And now he's saying the same thing about Tim Patrick. That's good enough for me. If Samo likes it, I want the Bears to sign him.
Hey, man. Hey, you know what? That's something to hang your hat on, and I appreciate your input. That sounds really good. Dano, that is a hard act to follow. What you got, Dano?
I like that he's familiar with Ben Johnson's system. If you look at Keenan Allen,
does that push the needle for you? Does that actually make you start to look at him?
Yeah, it does. It really does, because maybe we're going to have to get a couple players in here that are familiar with Ben Johnson's system. Although Ben has come out and said that it's not necessarily going to be the same Detroit Lions offense. They're going to build it around the strengths of the players that he has. But just to have somebody familiar with Ben Johnson, his coaching, the way he coaches. If you look at Keenan Allen's stats last year, can Patrick match those or come close to that? Possibly. I mean, it's not like Keenan Allen had an all-pro year last year. So you could get that at a much lower price. I'd like to see the Bears still draft a true slot receiver for the future. But, yeah, it'd be a good signing for a 1 or 2 year contract.
No, you know what? And I'm with you in that you hit the nail right on the head there, too. It's not so much about the system that he knows, because while it may look the same, there's definitely going to be some wrinkles and changes according to who we have. He has to tailor around everybody's abilities, okay? Like on our set, for example, we're just now starting to learn Brian's abilities on our set. He had abilities on another set. But how well will that meld with us? How well will that meld tonight as a pop-up guest or on Wednesday night when he's with Darius? Right. Just an example. Dano, you work good with everybody. You've been bounced around our show. You've even popped up on live shows. So everybody's got different characteristics. You got to go to their strengths, you know, and you don't force feed their ain'ts. You know, you don't dive into it. Don't be hard-headed. I think Ben Johnson bringing in a guy like this who knows Ben Johnson and be like, hey, you know, it's not so much, hey, Ben likes this, Ben don't like that. Bring him an apple, don't bring him a donut. All that kind of stuff.
Who the hell wants an apple when you can have donuts?
Yeah, well, yeah. But I'm just saying. So, yeah, I would want a donut. Yeah. And then maybe eat a little bit of an apple so I feel, you know, healthy again, you know. But
I'm greedy. I want both.
You want an apple donut?
Wipe off the white powder and grab the donut, and they'll be, oh, see, I got the apple, you know. But
Yeah.
no, seriously, I think that goes a long way. Familiarity, knowing someone, knowing, having that chemistry and all
Yeah.
that, and being able to just be there and just having a guy there that nods and smiles and gets it with a positive attitude and be like, and some people might pull him aside and be like, "Yo, what was it really like?" And oh, dude, it was great, man. It's great. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Because there's gonna be some times where they're just grinding, and it's just up against the wall, and it's gonna take a while to really press to the other side. And you're gonna need a guy. Just be patient. It's gonna come. It's gonna come. You
What
really need that guy. I'm glad you touched on that, Dano. What do you say about that, Brian?
what kind of what you're saying? They need a mentor,
Right.
and since he has familiar with Johnson and Antoine Rondell, yeah, he could be a springboard for the other guys. Because I'm really curious to see what Johnson can do with Tyler Scott.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He could be that slot receiver that I was talking
Bingo.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real
No,
quick though, guys, how refreshing is it to have a coach in here finally that is going to tailor his offense around the strengths of his players rather than the opposite? Because Nagy and who was Luke Getzey always forcing his offense on the players, not building his offense around the strength of the players.
And I'll tell you what happens with that. That happens when you're lost and Daddy ain't around and you're not underneath his wing. When Nagy
Right.
wasn't around Andy Reid and he came up against certain things like that, you got to remember he was a rookie head coach.
Hmm.
The worst thing that could happen to a rookie head coach is go 12-4 and win a Coach of the Year
Right.
when that was the worst thing that could ever happen to him because that
Yeah.
just pushed his agenda in the wrong direction. He's got to learn how to, and you know what? Maybe down the road, maybe down the road, there's something where he evolves, but we don't have to worry about that. He's not in the
Yeah.
building. I'm
Right.
just saying with Ben Johnson, it feels different. It really feels different, and Dennis Allen is already proven. He's already proven, and I like all this. Like Brian just said, and you got a guy in Dan Rushar. He's been around, tight end coach, running back coach. He's been a head coach before. Really good offensive line coach. Now he has an assistant from Oregon State. His
Yeah,
mind
I seen
escapes
that.
me. He had
Yeah.
an experience with him back in 2015 with the Saints, so they got familiarity. There's all this stuff going around. It just feels different, and there's some connectivity where these guys have actually worked together instead of taking a bunch of guys and just throwing it together and being like, okay, here you go. I like the fact that they gave a hands-off approach, let Ben do his due diligence and go find his guys, and I really think that is going to speak volume. But to the point of getting back to Tim Patrick, it's important, like you said, Dano, to bring guys into the fold and allow them to work with the coaches. We need to see that. There's a comfort level to see like, okay, good, he's from Detroit. Okay, good, he's from the Saints. Okay, good. There's not everybody gets replaced, okay, but there's still and that would be uncomfortable. I'd be very uncomfortable. Like, oh great, now we're freaking the Detroit Lions in Chicago, the Chicago Lions,
Right.
or the Chicago Saints. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I don't think that's the way to go. But a little bit here, a little bit there, whatever. I think
Yeah.
that's important.
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. You got
Let's talk.
anything,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
anything in the comments?
We're gonna get to those in a little bit. We got
Okay.
some questions. Just do me a favor. We got some echoes. So whenever we're not each other's talking, just mute our mics and then we'll turn them on when this has been ongoing. So I don't know what's going on with StreamYard or whatever. I've got a system I'm gonna probably set up and see if that helps us. Who knows? Maybe it's on my computer because when I do the live shows, I've got a whole different. You've seen it, Dano. So I might set that up here with what I got, and maybe that'll straighten things out and help or something. But yeah, let's just mute whenever we're not on mic and whatever. But anyways, like I said, are you ready for this, Bear Nation? Let's connect the dots here and how these moves could revolutionize our strategy with Jones and Patrick. We're not just talking about individual talent, we're discussing a cultural shift, guys, a strategic overhaul. Picture Jones partnering with DeAndre Swift, creating a backfield duo reminiscent of Gibbs and Montgomery, Aaron Detroit, but with our own twist. Patrick, with his veteran leadership, could elevate our other wide receivers, giving Caleb Williams the weapons to not only compete but dominate in the North. We're talking about crafting an offense that's unpredictable, versatile, and above all, explosive. This isn't just about making the playoffs, it's about setting the stage for a Bears renaissance. And listen, guys, these guys are not going to be expensive. And these are like light, flight risks. We go out, grab these guys, we're not breaking the bank. We're not saying, let's go take a risk with a high dollar amount. We're not trading for them, any of that crazy. These guys are just guys that either could come in and elevate or just be average and stay where they're at, or in Jones' case, above average. So, like I said, a new home for the Bears, that's something I want to talk to you guys about next. And I will tell you this. I got really tired of freaking not Ben Johnson. I got really tired of Kevin Warren's crap. And here's why, okay? President, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great guy, blah, 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 blah. But we were sucking. We had everybody saying, sell the team, sell the team. Next thing you know, the guy comes on the next morning on the podium. Yeah, things are looking good with the new stadium. We're going to our goal is to put a shovel in the dirt. I'm about to put a shovel over your head if you keep talking about where the hell we're going to go when we can't even win in underneath our own damn roof, okay? Go ahead. Buy that $1 billion freaking stadium and see who shows up, pal. Because I'm going to be standing up front and saying, hey, anybody that crosses me is not going to get in the easy way, because we are not freaking here to freaking have, and I guarantee you what's going to happen. Them ticket sales are going to continue to soar. My whole thing about is this. It'll never happen, but this is what I like to say, okay? Here's the deal. I would like the scales to tip. If you're sucking, so do your sales, okay? Drop it. Drop the sales. Let's get a clearance rack sale if you suck. If you're playing really good, the tickets can go up, okay? Now we can talk about freaking building a building or putting a shovel in the dirt instead of over the top of your damn head, okay? And looking for red sand because after I just buried you. I'm telling you right now, I'm glad that we finally beat the Packers, that we got these coaches and all this stuff, because now, Dano, Brian, I'm sure that we're okay with talking a little bit more about this new stadium, especially with the fact that if the ticket prices are going up and all of the jersey sales and everything like that, all the merchandise, the peanuts, the beer, don't get me started on those costs. They're freaking astronomical. That they're going to put a roof on it. So we're not freezing our butts off while, hey, they're cheating over there too. They got big old turbo heaters. And I ain't talking about a tank top heater like I got here in my garage, okay? Propane tank top. I'm talking about some things that'll freaking cinch your leg hairs and really make you feel like you're 80 degrees, okay? They've got some really nice new technology sitting on the bench. You guys have seen it. You know what I'm talking about, okay? But we're paying astronomical prices for a lackluster product. But now that we beat the Packers and we spent a lot of money on coaching and got this coaching staff all together, and it feels like we're going to address the trenches and really make this team built the way it's supposed to, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the new home, okay? There's actually some exciting stuff headed our way. There's some new locations that they just outlined, okay? So, where will the Bears call home in the future? We've got options that could redefine Chicago's skyline or even take us out of the state. Give you a little hint. So first off the top, we're going to talk about the museum campus. We could see the old McCormick place torn down, making way for a new stadium, with the current Soldier Field becoming a lush recreational paradise, complete with restaurants and entertainment. Or let's talk about the Michael Reese Hospital, where I don't know where the hell that is. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have no freaking clue where this place is at. I don't know, but let's talk about it. A bit south of Soldier Field, okay. Offering another prime downtown location, blending the Bears into the heart of the city even further. Now, let's talk about somewhere that's real close to tracks. Matter of fact, I travel there every day for work. Gary, Indiana, the pearl of Northwest. The beautifulest, no, it's not. It's not. Not even when, well, yeah, back when Michael used to, yeah, back in his heyday when he was a kid. An audacious move with Indiana throwing its hat in the ring by approving a vast sports complex. Imagine the Bears, not just as Chicago's team, but as a regional powerhouse. I can't even say this with a straight face, man. It's bad. Arlington Heights, here's another one. I'm just going to go right across that because it would be beautiful just to drive. Could you imagine a tailgate at tracks? My wife would be like, go home, go home. Why is there 400 people here? Arlington Heights, the dream scenario for many people, okay? The Bears owning 333 acres of prime real estate. It's not just a stadium, it's an entire entertaining district. This one makes the most sense, but it's the most furthest for most of us. I don't know. Where is it at for you, Dano? About an hour?
Yeah, at least an hour. Yeah.
Okay. It's envisioning an entire entertainment district with easy access to 2 metro lines and major highways. This could be the epicenter of the Bears football. Each spot has its charm, except for Gary. I don't know what the hell they see in the charm there, okay? I'm just going to say. And it's got its drawbacks and its dreams. What's your vision, Bears Nation? Let's say hey, by the way, everybody in the chat, thank you for showing up and showing out. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that noti bell. We're going to get to your comments in a little bit. Let's unpack and let's talk to the guest of the hour, Brian and Dano. Let's see what you guys got to say. What do you got to say about this, Brian? What's your favorite location?
Well, number one, I'm 180 miles away, so it really don't matter. Number two, I get the skyline and the lake, but if you got a roof on it, what difference does that make? To me, financially and what they want to do, Arlington Heights makes the most sense. I realize for the people that for generations it's been Bears fans and being able to go to the game or whatever, it's nice to get on the L train and 20-30 minutes, you're at the stadium. But from what I heard, it is a major pain to get out if you drive. Regardless of where it's at, I'm going to be watching it on TV. So I'm really a bad person to say about the stadium.
No, you're not. And let me tell you why. Okay, I'm unmuted. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Because you matter. During COVID, we already found out that 80% of the revenue comes from TV sales. What does that mean? They really don't need us at the stadium in order to gain a profit. They're losing 20%. In the grand scheme of things, it's important, but they can survive and still make some good money. And at the end of the day, it only will hold so many people. We can all agree that there's more fans than 40, 50, 60, 70, however big this thing is going to be. Or it stays at Soldier Field and it's the smallest one out of all 32 teams. But to the point is, even the TV goers is just important. Am I right, Dano? It doesn't matter whether you're metabolizing it at the game or watching it on TV. What you have, there's good input there. And I agree. You're not going to see the lake if you got a dome on it. Maybe we can open it up, close it, retract or something. I don't really know. But you make good points. You make good points.
With that said, say that you had one end that's glass and you get to see the lake or the skyline. Then you run into the problem that Dallas runs in with the sunlight. So if a team kicks off to you, you got the sun staring right in your eyes as a player.
Oh, I agree. So they'd probably have to have some sort of like tent or something. There's definitely some things to talk about. Hey, listen, you got some very valid points, even though you're a TV goer. But it's important to get a well-rounded, right, Dano? It's it. They're saying, by the way, the echo went away when we muted the mic. So I'm glad you guys are doing that and whatever. And it's a little bit more challenging for the crosstalk, but it does help out for the viewers. So I appreciate you, gentlemen. So I'm going to leave it up to Dano really quick to close it out, and then we're going to get to the comments, and I'm going to mute my mic while Dano speaks.
I wish they'd just stop messing around. I think most of the talk about staying in Chicago is just Kevin Warren using leverage to get tax cuts or more money out of Arlington Heights. I really do. Because, I mean, most of those locations that they're talking about in the city doesn't solve the problem of the traffic getting in and out. There's not as nearly as much space in any of those locations to build what they would want to build around the property that they have in Arlington Heights. And then I also have a selfish reason for wanting them to go to Arlington Heights because of my profession. I'd be able to take the Metro train for free. So that'd be nice for me. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be Arlington Heights. I think it was always going to be Arlington Heights. And like I said, I think they're just the whole Chicago thing is probably was just leverage. Tracks.
I, I got one quick thing to say about the stadium. As far as funding, why couldn't they come up with, like, say, a scratch off lottery ticket where all that money goes? That way, people that ain't interested in sports, they're not paying on tax. People's going to gamble. And if you come up with a new scratch off ticket that funds the Bear Stadium, people are going to buy a lottery ticket.
I wish they'd do that for this podcast, and we could definitely get rid of that damn echo. Hey, I tell you what, guys. Hey, look at Dano's wall. Doesn't it remind you of like two Madonna? Like, what's wrong? What's wrong with me?
Well, I know when I stare at it and I blink, I see it in my blink.
Hey. All right. Let's get to the comments. Let's get to the comments, guys. Here we go. Thank you guys, everybody showing up, showing out. Oh my goodness, look at all the people in the building. We got some serious. Whoa, man, this is crazy. Donkey Kong, Lions own the North. Yes, they do, Donkey Kong. But right now, owning the North don't really mean much because everybody was one and done. Being in the North this year just meant that you were one more game than the Bears had, okay? That's it, Donkey Kong. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, Donkey Kong. Phil, bear down, boys. Cliff, let's go Bears. What up, Clifford? Phil says, let's talk some football. Absolutely. You guys look cold. I'm in shorts outside. Whatever, Cliff. Whatever. Them two boys ain't cold. And guess what? My thermometer says 77 degrees in my garage now that I finally got my tank top going. Okay? So I'm all right. Thanks for checking on us, buddy. Tracks, we need hogs on both sides of the ball. Oh, I'm glad you finished that sentence. I thought you might be taking a trip to the bar or something. Debbie Tuttle says, bear down. Donkey Kong says, Aaron will stay in Minnesota. Aaron hates Chicago. Wow. Okay, tell us how you real feel, Donkey Kong. I think you hate Chicago, talking all that junk over there, Donkey Kong. I'm about to bust a barrel over your head, Donkey Kong. Cliff says, this draft is loaded with running back talent. Yes, it is. Absolutely. We agree. Darius says, bear down, fellas. Do me a favor. If you see a comment that you guys want to, because we're all doing the mute thing right now, if you guys see a comment, just throw your hand up. I'll catch it, your finger or whatever, give me the finger. Donkey Kong. Who is. Yes, Dano? Are you just. He's just testing me. Oh, here we go. Man, we got.
I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Samo for showing up.
Which one is he? Which one is he?
Samo, Sammo,
Oh,
just for
okay. Well, I
showing
didn't
up.
see it. I didn't see it. I thought he maybe be under alias name or something else. Okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks for showing up, buddy. Appreciate the help, and it already is paying dividends. Brian travels well. So let's see here. Back to the Hogs. Bear down, fellas. Who is glad Jaden Daniels is not in the NFC North? I could care less, man. I think he's a great talent, but I'm actually rooting for the guys. I think he's doing a good job. Washington he's the sum of the parts. It wasn't just him all in of itself. It was the coaching. It was the players. I like the fact that they went from 4 wins to NFC championship, and I thought that was great. It gives other teams like the Chicago Bears hope.
I want to add something to that. I'm glad that Daniels is with Washington because now the NFC is starting to build up the quarterback for a long time. All the good quarterbacks seem to be in the AFC, and now the NFC is catching up, which means better games for everybody.
I like that. I like there's, not just a division of power. It's all, it's everywhere. AFC and NFC, both divisions, the whole NFL. I like it, man. Good call. Darius says drafting a running back, about 80 million exclamation points. He gets really emotional when we talk about certain things. So get ready, Brian. He's a lot of fun, buddy. You're gonna love working with him. Cliff says, "Hey Darius, Philip, and Donkey Kong." Cliff says, "Hey Brandon, Brian, and Dano." Hey Cliff. Tracks, you're a legend in Bears football analysis. Bear the F down. All right, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, Phil. Hope you're doing all right. I haven't seen you lately the last couple days. I'm sure you're busy, man. You're great, man. We love you. There's Samo. Okay. What's up, Samo? Fellas, bear down. There's your buddy Samo. Cliff says, hey, Samo. Cliff knows him too, apparently. Phil says, Cliff Victoria, bear down, brother. Darius says, 2 injury prone running backs, don't do it. 2 of them? Who's the other? What's he talking about?
Oh,
you know what? Maybe Mostert, whatever face.
he may be talking about Ian Wheeler and Johnson with all the concussions that he had.
And then put Jones in. Hey, are you putting mute on? I feel like you're cheating the system over there because you jump in real quickly over there, pal. Unless you got a really fast finger, Mr. Brian. He's a freaking legend among us, dude. He's like, right here, bitch. Good job, buddy. I'm learning from you. See, look, I got it ready now. James Childers says, good evening, Bears Nation, and Green Bay sucks. I think that's what we really need to address in the building. Okay? We can all agree. For whatever reason, let's just try to go find a damn guy that never played in green, right? Green and yellow. Or a coach. I'm telling you right now, if Luke Getsy lights it up, I'm traveling to Green Bay. We're all freaking storming the freaking gates, and we're gonna go. You know what I'm gonna look like? I'm gonna go look like freaking Uncle Eddie on National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, like when he goes and sabotages his boss. That's what I'm doing to Luke Getsy, and y'all are coming with me. Pitchforks and freaking torches, because if they start lighting it up in freaking Green Bay, I'm calling sabotage right now.
Hey, Trax, what was that story about last night that you held that guy by his ankles?
Yeah, I'm doing that with Luke Getsy. Yep. Dano will help me too. We could hold him for like a whole half hour with Dano on my side for sure. Like he's gonna start turning purple. But yeah, dude, seriously, I'm like with you guys. Let's just cleanse ourselves of all Green Bay. Let's just do our thing for sure. Especially since the fact that we beat their butts without a Green Bay guy or a coach, right? No, no, we got Jonathan. We had Jonathan. Get him out of here too, and Simone Biles and her freaking Green Bay Packers shirt. I listen. He was a bear when she was in Soldier Field. Don't you wear that freaking crap in our building, okay? Wear your husband with Bears gear. Don't go sit over there in a way like that. Just really stick to freaking gymnastics. I'm so upset.
Hey, what we gotta remember? What game was that she wore that Packers jersey? Was that the curse? Did they start losing after she wore that jersey? We're gonna have to do some investigative reporting on that.
My blood pressure is getting about as hot as this tank top when you're starting to freaking you're poking the bear, Dano. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Hey, I'm gonna have a guy. Uh, if this wasn't sweetness, I'd pretend like this is freaking Simone Biles right now. Okay, hanging her upside down. Well, no, she's about half his height, so maybe like this. No, seriously, that I still love her. She's a great gymnast, whatever. But don't wear that stuff. Your husband is a bear now. Go ahead.
Uh, if you're going to hold somebody by their ankles, make sure you do it on payday. That way, all the money falls out.
This guy's good. I like you, dude. I remember you now. Yeah, yeah. You got really. I tell you what. Another man's junk is another man's treasure. You should have never been junk, bro. You're the pearl of the freaking podcast. So, welcome aboard. Open arms. We're excited to have you, bro. This is going to be great. Ain't it, Dano? He fits right in, bro.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really felt welcome today, and thank you, Trex. And I want to give a shout out to another buddy of mine and ex colleague that is now a colleague in Keith the Bishop, because he got the ball rolling. And two things with Keith and Samo, and this is why I love them both dearly. I was feeling depressed last year because of how things went and worked out and all like that. And they both reached out to me almost within 24 hours. And I told Samo, I go, uh, I'm not sure I'm cut out for podcasts because I'm an old guy. I may not remember what happened 15 minutes ago, but I could recite something that happened in 1977. I'm at that age at 61. Uh,
Hey, you weren't in San Jose in 1977 around October, were you?
uh, that was the first year that I got drunk. I could have been roaming that away.
Well, guys, what? You're lucky because you're 5'8" and I'm freaking 8'5", so we're good, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm about the size of one of your legs.
All right, man. Hey, welcome, man. I'm so glad you're here, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Samo says Cliff Victoria. Good evening, Bears Nation. Green Bay sucks. In my opinion, Bears need a first and a second down back. Move Swift to passing downs. I like that, Cliff. That's good. I do think he doesn't mean exclusively on that, but more focused, right? That would be his target. We'd still use him at different times, but that would be more of his reps if I'm taking that. You don't just use him on third downs. Like he's not like that 33, 34-year-old running back where you got to use sparingly. You know what I mean?
And see, that's why I kind of want to go with a bigger back, somebody that wears down the defense, and then you got that speed guy that just jitterbugs through the field.
James says, "Hey Cliff, I see you, and I think you actually mean it this time."
Yeah, Swift could be that good change of pace back. You know what I mean? You run not actually Roshan Johnson, but you run a guy like that as your workhorse, and then you bring Swift in for change of pace.
Honestly, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I want to tell you one thing. You guys are gonna have to get those cards or something that they use in auctions. Like an auctioneer. Oh crap, he's got one. No, not your AA chip, Dano. That's for a different meaning, you son of a bitch. Oh, look at what's he got. What's that say? I can't read the right way. You got it backwards. What?
Me next.
Me
Oh,
next. Now I forget what I was going to say.
You're on
That's all
mute,
right.
Trax.
That's all right. That's my bad. Cliff says, I can't wait for free agency so we can narrow down our draft. Yeah, March 12th, it's going to be a great day. It's coming right up, man. It can't come quick enough because we just had Snowmageddon hit us today, man. I'm waiting for March for sure. Samo says there's no way he's going to leave Minnesota. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying at this point he's available, and who knows? Maybe they're looking at the outlier in the draft or looking at somebody else on their radar. You never know what they're saying. But I'm not saying that you're wrong, Samo. There's a very good possibility, brother, that he very well could be staying in Minnesota. I don't see why not. But hey, here's the thing. What was that guy? I think I drafted him, by the way. Who was the old running back that they had? Because I thought he should have never went nowhere.
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. There's a prime example of a guy who looks in the same age, whatever, productivity, and then boom, they let him go. They did it at the right time because nobody really, I think he did get picked up, but he didn't do nothing. And I don't know what they saw. Maybe they see something, whatever. But I agree with Samo. There's a good possibility. He said, we're not. We're just, what we're doing right now is exploratory services, okay? We're taking a look at everything. No rock to be left unturned until March 12th. We got to cover a lot of ground. You get it, Samo. You're a producer for sure. What you got over there?
Now, this is just me being a mad scientist, but Roshan Johnson, when he was in high school, he was a dual threat quarterback. I believe he was top 10 on Rivals, and that's what he went to Texas as. Johnson shows he likes to be creative. That may be something to think about, keeping him as your third or fourth running back.
You guys heard it first from Brian, the mad scientist. He is now our second string quarterback, and we're getting ready to trade away. That's what happens here on Monsters of the Madhouse, bro. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. He's a mad scientist. I like it, Get rid of our backup quarterback and his muscle-bound arm wrestling daddy. Ed, you heard it first. James, he didn't say that, folks, so don't start sending him hate mail. It's his first day, okay? Let's take it easy on the guy. James says, hey, Darius, all I know is that Green Bay still sucks and we'll be retaking the division, which is very good. I like that, James. Keep the positivity coming.
Question. Trax, why do you want to kill me? Last night you was about ready to beat me up, and now you're accusing me of saying stuff that I didn't say.
No, bro, this is all in fun.
Bro.
Last night, I thought you just caught a stray. I thought you were going after Bishop, but after I read the comments, I redacted my statement. We're all good. I know you're busting my balls now. Cliff Victoria says Ben Johnson knows how to beat the North. Yes, he does. He knows how to beat us too. Samo says, I like Oklahoma State running back Ollie Gordon. Number 2, he's a big running back option. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Ollie. Most notably, he was at the, he was at the Senior Bowl. And if I'm not mistaken, my co-host Jim Miller interviewed him on Moving the Chains, and it was a dynamic interview. The kid's he's really bright, man. He's very bright. And humble, too. He's very humble.
I'll add something to Ollie Gordon. Last year wasn't his best year. He did get a DUI last summer. I don't know how that affected him, and I don't know how, the Bears kind of want choir boys. I don't know how that would go. But I do agree with Samo. He is a heck of a back, and he's probably somebody you get in the fourth or fifth round.
James says, I tend to agree with there, Cliff, just as long as we avoid stupid penalties. Yeah, James, I'm hoping new coaches are the real deal to properly coaching the players. Welcome back, sweetness. I mean, Brian. Donkey says, Tim Patrick will not leave Detroit. Samo says, I've been calling for Tim Patrick too. His speed and blocking ability are both needs. I'm all about having a blocking receiver. That's great, man. Cliff says, we learned we couldn't trust former Bears coaches about the status of coaches and players. They lied to us. Absolutely, they lied to us for sure. James says, last season, those penalties cost us valuable yardage big time. And also momentum. When you get that going in the wrong way, momentum is freaking hard to go against. Cliff says Patrick is a big wide receiver who has run 4.5 40s. That's good, man. I thought I saw something where he ran a little bit faster than that, but I could be wrong. Samo says salute Brian. Cheryl says hey Brandon, Dano, and Brian. Cliff says you have an echo going with Dano and Brian, Brandon. We got that figured out. That was at, that was like 40 minutes ago. We got to get caught up. You're right, Cliff. V, not the burner, but fictional long speed. Cliff says, will Bears draft a wide receiver? That would be a good one. Trax, are you in your garage like AM2, my cold man cave, smoking cigars? I'm not really a big cigar guy because I inhale and it makes me sick. Now, I do like those blondies by Acid. I think those are pretty tasty, but they give me a headache afterwards because I haven't quite figured out the cigar method. I'm glad I didn't because I got addictive personality and I'd have like a bunch of Cubans and I'd be living outside. Cliff says, Laz, it's 73 here. Come on, Cliff. Are you freaking kidding me? Guess what, buddy? I got freaking 87 in my garage. Beyond. It's getting warm in here. Like my freaking arm is like starting to warm up. I need to do the podcast from my backside. Cliff says, my wife and I are going to come up to Chicago this week, but changed our minds. We'll postpone it until weather warms up in Chicago. Why would you even try coming right now if you're waiting for it to warm up? What are you doing? Like, come on, Cliff. You're down there in Florida. This doesn't make sense. There's some holes in your story, buddy.
We'll see you in June, Cliff.
Samo says, I would like the Bears to draft one Cliff V, hopefully later, so Nick Nash might be a good option. Oh, he wants to draft one good receiver. Yeah. I like that guy from UNLV, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. Cliff Victoria, Samo, yeah, fix the trenches first. Not mine, detached space heaters. I got a space heater down by my ankles, but it mostly burns my freaking calf hairs, and it looks like I shave my legs. Hey, saving money on Nair, bitches. I don't even know if Nair's a thing anymore. Cliff says, Brandon, your voice is fine. It's the other guys who are echoing. I don't know, man. I've been on other podcasts with other guys and my voice was echoing. I think it's something on me that's I don't know about this stuff. Well, I'm just going to try a whole different setup next time. I was rushing. Just got back from watching Dogman with my son for Valentine's Day. Samo says, Bears may bring in familiar Detroit OG Kevin Zeitler, too. He's old, but it has been reliable. Samo, I know you don't watch our podcast, and you're only here for Brian's good looks and his, sweetness jersey. But I will tell you this much. I did talk about Zeitler. I think it was either the night before last or several times I've talked about him. I'm big on Zeitler for sure. I say bring him, especially since there's familiarity with Ben Johnson, and he could show us the way. I think it's good. I don't think he's going to be very expensive. I think he's in his 30s, might be around 34 or something. I like him. I like Ryan. as a center out of the Colts. I think that would be some good pairings over there. Yeah. Cliff says, I'd be happy with Zietler on the team. Samo says, me too, Cliff. Stopgap option year or two. Yep. And I'm not opposed to drafting a guy either. I'm just saying we need to get some veterans in there that gets it right now. Because right now the only guy that gets it is barely a veteran in Darnell Wright. Everybody else is wrong. Samo says, wide receiver Josh Reynolds also has his best season with Ben Johnson. I think he's on the team now too, isn't he, boys? Isn't Josh?
Dude, I gotta be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know what team he's at right now.
We picked up a guy from Detroit. I just can't remember what his name is. I don't think it was Josh Reynolds. I think it was another guy. We'll probably find out the answer in the chat below. Were you getting to say something? No? Laz says, I don't think they're going with Zietler with another strong O-line coach and the assistant today. I think they plan on developing. I think that two things could be true at the same time. I think they're going to do both, and you have to, young and old together.
Josh Reynolds is with Jacksonville.
Thank you very much. He might be a one-off deal with Jacksonville, and he might be coming this way. I'm not sure why that was brought up, but that's a good option if it's available. Cliff says, Kevin Warren has one job, put more money in McCaskey. Nah, I don't believe that. I think here's the deal, Cliff. I know what you're saying, and you're a little salty about stuff, and I was too, but at the end of the day, he's already applied, like Jim Miller said, he's already applied for commissioner of the NFL. He obviously didn't get it, but if he fails here, that's going to be on his track record and goes anywhere. So he's got to win now. Two things can be true at the same point in time. That's like saying, that the guys right in front of me don't want to run their own show. Why wouldn't they? I recommend it. I hope they do. I hope they do solo shows. I hope they share their own podcast. But they still can be productive, do great here, and grow and spread their own wings and do two things at the same point in time. I think Kevin Warren's that guy. I know I've talked to Chris Zorch and his wife Candy. They're really good friends. They used to go to Notre Dame together. He speaks very highly of Kevin Warren in the sense that he's got that type of integrity. He's an integrity type guy. So I don't think that he's myopic and he's just looking down the road and he's just looking to build the stadium. Obviously, he stepped in at the press conference and said, hey, I'm going to be that stopgap. I'm stopping. I'm keeping ownership over here. And Ryan Poles, I'm in charge, but Ryan Poles is going to run point. There's a difference in what we used to see. Don't let history define what we are today. It's different. I feel like when you come up like this that you were getting ready to say something. So, all right, my bad. James Childers says, look at next year's schedule. We got a chance of going 12-5, 13-4, 14-3. Man, this guy's Captain Positivity, man. I love it. We clinch the North Central, go to the playoffs, and if everything goes well, we bring home the. All right, hold on, buddy. I like it, but you gotta puff pass, okay? Make sure we all get a little bit of that wacky tobacco, bro. I mean, I'm positive too, but Lombardi Trophy, my God, man. What do you guys got to say about this take?
What was Washington's record last year?
Whose?
Commanders.
Four wins. We said that earlier. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and then they're the NFC North or NFC, in the championship. Yeah.
So never say never.
Oh, yeah, I'm never about that, but he's also saying the Lombardi. I don't even think Washington.
If you're going to dream big.
Well, yeah, and if you're going to smoke big too, apparently. But I see what you're saying, though, bro.
I say don't hide it, divide it.
Hey, there you go. Let's get Snoop with it. All right, Phil says Bears will break ground in Arlington Heights. It's just a matter of time. All right, Phil, you must live close to there. Cliff says, look at the Minnesota Stadium. Warren did that. I expect something similar for Arlington. I agree. He did a great job. He actually got that paid off 25 years early. Imagine what that looks like And that is a big feather in his hat. I think that will hold and carry legacy on forever. This is a different legacy. Imagine, if you will, resurrecting the Bears to greatness. That is going to be an even bigger legacy if he's a huge a part of that, and he knows it. Laz says the money will come, especially with the stadium, but Kevin Warren was probably instrumental. Did we lose him, or is he? Okay. The money will come, especially with the stadium, but Kevin was probably instrumental in getting George to dig deep for BJ. Cliff says, will Chicago own the property of Bears? Bears already own AH. Yeah, I don't know. It's all good possibilities. We don't really know for sure, but one thing's for certain, they're going to keep digging. Brandon on drugs, Gary, Indiana, LOL. No, dude, they brought it up today. They floated it. Go check it out, bro. It's totally going in AH. I agree. But they threw their hat in the ringer. Matter of fact, a few months ago, if you remember, they threw their hat in the ringer about another place that was off grid that we weren't even. Where was that at? Do you remember? They were talking about another town or another city that it just. Oh, I know where it was. It was
Waukegan?
No, it wasn't Waukegan. It was west. It was Naperville. I think it was Naperville. Or something like that. So most fans that go are not living in the city. Yeah, I agree. But you know what? They might have to. They might have to go. I mean, we've all traveled all over to go to the city. Now maybe the city travels to them. I mean, if you're a Bear fan, you'll do anything. That's what we do. I'm sure they'll do it. DT Honey Bear says the Bears need to focus on winning the team and a new stadium if possible. Yes, I agree. 10-minute drive for me. I love tailgating every game. Same with me, to Gary. 10-minute drive. Soldier Field is my playground. I love Soldier Field. Arlington Heights, Munoz says. I want to fly in then, take a train to the Arlington Heights complex, stay in a Arlington Heights hotel, and visit the restaurants and stores in the complex. No parking in Chicago. Take the train, Munoz. Samuel says, even taking the train, you have to walk so far away. That's all right. You need some exercise, Samo. We all do. James Childers says, I've never experienced a Bear-style tailgate party. That would make it a memorable experience for me someday. Let's go, James. I'll take you, buddy. I'll get you so freaking. You'll have a good time. You will feel no pain even if we lose. James Childers says, I've never experienced. Wait, we already did that one. Cliff says, Bears will have some kind of transportation for the rich fans, probably either a short walk or a tram or hotel. Do you know where the train stations will be? I'll tell you what, I took a rickshaw, I took a bike, and we all got there. Now, Trax was 145 pounds heavier, and the guys that were with me were not that much smaller than me. And this little Indian dude hopped on the bike, and what happens next was crazy, because as he's going up over the bridge, I thought we were going to go reverse style, and he was going to fall over. And I feel really bad because I made him go a lot cheaper. We cut a deal with him. I think his whole deal was like 65. I talked him down to like 45, 50 bucks. Well, he barely made it over the bridge. He barely got us to Soldier Field. The guy almost had a heart attack carrying us fat whales all the way there. And then on the way back, it gets worse. We're coming down out of Soldier Field, getting ready to grab another one of those guys. They all looked in the other direction. As we make the turn, he's got his bike up in the air and he's trying to fix the chain that we broke. I feel really bad. So those are really nice though. They make short work. And I think they actually got like a motor or something to them.
You telling that story reminds me of that movie, The Great Outdoors, with John Candy, when he tries to get on that horse and he don't let him on.
Yeah. Yep. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Exactly. Munoz says, Cliff, where you live? He's in Florida. Samo says, I'm confused about the Bears. Why would they want to land in Arlington Heights if they knew they didn't want to pay for themselves? I think it's just an investment one way or another. Munoz says, Gulf of America coast south of Tampa. Nice. Echo is gone. Yeah, we've been toggling on and off the mute. It's been helping. It's like Kevin Warren completely changed the direction of stadium project. I agree. Uh, the Bears' new rendering has no parking in Chicago. Realistically, Arlington Heights is by far the best space for their new home. You're just going all in on that, Phil, because you just said you're 10 minutes away. You're leading the witness, buddy. You're leading the witness. Uh, Munoz said, yep. I mean, it makes sense, though. It really does. At the end of the day, I'll probably be more of a casual guy that just watches it on TV, except for when I go to the locker room, the press conference, and, the sideline for my press pass. When I go do that, obviously I'll take the drive because it's worth it. Cliff says, LOL tracks. I have to respectfully disagree with you, Donkey. How can you respect the name Donkey? Like, how can you say that straight-faced? It just sounds funny. No disrespect to Donkey Kong, but it's just funny. I don't know. Whatever. Duh, Bears will take the North Central. 100% Dano. I don't know where Dano went. I wish he would have told us he had to go or something. Wait, he's backstage. He came back. He's chilling. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. What happened, buddy?
I had some technical difficulties I had to take care of.
Oh, you had to take a poop, huh? I get it. It's all right. Samo says, salute, Brian. He's saluting you again. James says, Sharon Rogers doesn't own anything. He's going to be on his backside, counting the stars and how many times he got sacked. Man, tell us how you really feel. Munoz says, Dano. Cliff says, it would be funny if Rodgers went to Minnesota. I've been saying that. That'd be crazy. My buddy that's a Minnesota fan, he's at work. He's probably not going to be a friend of mine much longer because I've basically got him in the fetal position. He can't stand Rodgers. He calls him a cancer. He says he ain't coming. Samo says, happy to see you back in the fold, Brian. We've missed you in the Bears community. Munoz says, Dano's mirrors makes it look like he had Mickey Mouse ears. LOL. Are those mirrors? Oh, okay. Cliff says, FGB. Munoz, don't start singing the theme song to the MMC. Need a couple more beers to start singing that song. Same difference, Bears beers. SMU, Brashard Smith is who I really want. I like Martinez for sure. He's one guy. I got some guys that Jim Miller saw at the Senior Bowl where he got a really up close and personal look at the small-time college kids that showed up against the big-time college kids. He's got some powerhouses in there that I want to share with you guys when we do the running back and do the deep dive. Some guys that aren't even on our radars. It's great. Laz says, this Bears coaching staff is the most encouraging in decades. Even Olin is high on Rush Hour. Yeah, I saw that. Did you see that on X app? He loves Rush Hour. And actually, so is Jim Miller. They're both the alma mater from Michigan State. He loves him. He says he's going to be a great addition. He's going to be a great offensive line coach. Funny how we never heard anybody say anything about Chris Morgan, James says, except they want to see him leave the building. That Cliff. Second that. Go Bears. Second that. Is it second or is it third at that point? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Brian is a gem to the Bears community. He knows all the Bears history. I agree, man. He's good so far, man. Speaking of Mickey Mouse and shaking upside down, Disney has people at their parks with scissors who cut your pockets so all the chains falls out. $11K to stay there a week now. Wow, that's expensive.
I want to say thank you to Samo again. And you said everything that I told you to say, so the check was in the mail.
Check's in the mail. Hey, Samo just said the last one bounced. It's got to be not a check this time. Just kidding.
Well, it may be a while.
James says, bear down for life. DT Honey Bear, the division is coming home to the good guys. Brian, you would love Iowa running back Caleb Johnson. Yes, even though it's spelled wrong, I love Caleb too. My buddy's from Iowa, graduated from Iowa. Big time fan of him. The only problem that he says is he was the bell cow and he had some aches and pains and talk about staying healthy and all that kind of stuff. They're looking at that right now. Bajent. Honey Bear says the Bears org need to follow on a winning team. The Bears haven't been in playoffs for 14 years. We need a playoff team. My wife wanted to visit friends and family for her birthday. Oh, okay, that makes sense. T3P podcast. Do love the sweetness jersey. Who's T3P? You know that guy? No? Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, Mr. TP, and bring a little bit more to my house. I'm running low, brother. James says, you're right, Honey Bear. As the old adage goes, Rome wasn't built in a day. Roy Mason says, I would love to trade Bajent and get a backup veteran to help with Caleb. I'm telling you right now, Brian already has it figured out. He already knows who to get. It's a running back for the backup. He says he's just as good, if not better, than Bajent.
Thanks, buddy.
That's a lie. That's a lie. He did not say that. He did not say that. Cliff says, Bears only have 4 or 5 offensive linemen under contract. They're going to need offensive line guys. Are you saying I got a chance, Cliff? Cliff says, James, I want some of that Kool-Aid. What he's talking about, winning the Super Bowl and all that stuff. If I can locate it, Cliff tracks. I'm just being extremely optimistic. You're being something, that's for sure. You can't pass the breathalyzer, much less a freaking piss test, buddy. Ant Mass says, bear down, CSP. Joliet. Hey, what's up, Gary OZ? Bear down, Cliff. I worked in Gary on a multi-week job for my company, kept looking over my shoulder. A group of residents tried to rob me. I walked through them, and they didn't follow me. Yeah, Cliff, I wouldn't mess with you either, buddy. It's good to meet you at what's the name of that Hall of Fame game when we were in Canton, Ohio. Meet you and your wife. I don't know why you didn't stay with the backstage pass, though. You had all the freaking stars right there. You should have just hung out with Trax. I would have went and pedaled and got you more drinks, kept them overflowing. Although I hope the guy from the Hall of Fame is not watching, because I'm interviewing him Monday from the Hall of Fame, the CCO, Rich Desar. If you guys ever get a chance, check that out on the NFL Network. He's got a great show. It was on like 6 o'clock this morning. He goes over all the Hall of Fame. You know, they've got a show every week. It's really good, man. James says, Ant Mass, bro, FGB, Munoz, just a bunch of you guys back and forth. I love everybody talking. It's great, man. Brandon says, Antoine Randall is that dude. What's going on, fellas? Trax Dano. What's up, Ant Mass? Holy cow, Ant Mass is back. The prodigal son returns. What happened to you, bro? Come on, you don't write? You don't call, you don't write, no bar mitzvahs? What's going on, buddy? Ant Mass, bear down. Brandon, Walter Payton's my favorite player. We're gonna actually have Eddie Payton, his older brother, on here soon. Man, I love that guy. He's great. He played for the Lions, played for the Vikings as a return guy. He's awesome. Trax, we got to get together, talk a lot of Bears football soon. Yeah, Phil, send me the video, dude. I want to put you on, buddy. And I'm not talking about your OnlyFans. I had to delete that one. I stopped looking. I stopped looking after the first 20, 30 minutes. Philip says, build the freaking trenches. Brandon, in person, you look like you'd fit on the Bears line. Thanks, buddy. That means a lot. Brandon, Dano, you will be my Valentine. Aww. He's asking, will he be his Valentine? Look, hey, it's not midnight yet.
I'm gonna have to check with my wife first.
Yep, there you go.
There's always got to be a cat.
And a cameraman. Cliff says you were busy and I didn't want to get in the way. Next time. Yep, we're going this year. Trapakeepa, bear down. True old school Bears fans are amazing. We debate, have fun, have our opinions with respect. I get no respect, says Rodney Dangerfield. Uh, Cliff says my wife would have dropped me in a second for Walter Payton. Shoot, you probably would have dropped your wife for Walter. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, anyways, what do you guys got to say about all that, man? What do you got to say about the chat? Any pleasantries before we close this? Close this up.
I just want to say this has been a blast. I felt very welcome. It's good to see some old friends. It's great to meet some new friends. And I really look forward to Wednesday's podcast, seeing all you guys again. And thank you very much for making me feel welcome and wanted.
I'll just close it with it's been after having a long week in this cold weather all week at work, it's been a good time to just kind of unwind with you guys. Yes, with everybody in the chat, with Brandon, Brian. Good way to end the week and to begin a long weekend.
I'll tell you what, man, it's great to have you back. And Brian, it's good for you to be on the show. That you are exactly what we needed. Okay? You can't rush perfection like fine wine. You just got to keep crushing the grapes with your feet and then drink it. And we're swallowing you up, all of you, buddy, all of you, on this Valentine's Day, sweetie. So here are your 5 crucial questions, Bears fans. We got to ask you. Leave it in the comments as soon as we close this out. Run back. Help us keep that SEO engine going. Help keep that going, the algorithm, okay? Come back because all this will be gone. And then we need you to come back on YouTube and blow up the comments, hit the like, all that good stuff. Share the video. Enter for a chance to win a jersey of your choice. Your boy Trax will pedal it. Make sure it gets autographed. I might have it in my closet or my locker. We'll figure it out. I'll make sure it gets to you at 3,000. 4,000 subscribers will be a football signed. 5,000 will be another jersey. We'll keep switching it out. You guys are going to look clean walking down the street. You're from Chicago Sports Podcasts, they're going to say. All right, guys, because I ain't, like Dano says, I ain't about hiding it. I'm about dividing it. So let's go. Here's our 5 questions. 5 crucial questions. Number 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, how pumped are you about Aaron Jones wearing blue and orange? 1 to 10. Give us those numbers and those stars in the comments below. Question number 2. This is about Tim Patrick's impact. Would you give Patrick a standing ovation or a polite golf clap for his potential impact on our team? Let's hear your applause. Type the word applause or just a little clap. Question number 3. QV development, whether it be a quarterback of Brian's liking or a real quarterback. On a scale of 1 to 5, how significantly do you think these additions will elevate Caleb Williams' game? Share your thoughts. Question number 4, the stadium preference. Rank our stadium options, 1 being the best, 4 being the least favorite. Please say that you would like to have it in Gary, Indiana, because it's right by your boy Trax and Bridges Scoreboard. Question number 5. Soldier Field legacy. Should we keep Soldier Field for the iconic Bears? I want to. I'm all jokes aside, I really want to. It's dedicated to the men and women, the veterans. When I was in boot camp and I traveled from Great Lakes and I saw that, that's what won me over to this city before I went back and I served time in the Middle East. I said, if I ever come back to, if I'm looking for a home, that's one of the reasons is Soldier Field. I love it, man. It's great. It's iconic. It's for the veterans. It means a lot. It's beautiful. It's on the lake. Let's keep it, man. I hope so. But this is a business, right? So give us a resounding yes if you'd like to keep it. If you'd like to keep it at Soldier Field. And tell us why this legacy should or shouldn't continue. No pressure. Comment below. Let's hear your voice echo like our podcast did today through Bears Nation. Like, comment, and subscribe to stay ahead. Throw in a little super chat money if you want to help donate to our Echo Fund, canceling Echo Fund. And subscribe to stay ahead of the curve. And remember, Each comment enters you for a giveaway of a jersey of your choice. We'll reveal the lucky winner when we hit the 3,000 mark. Right now, we passed the 2,400 mark. We're over 3,100 on Instagram, well over 6,000 on Facebook. We've got 2,500 on XApp. We're growing everywhere. That's the point. It's great, man. You guys are awesome. We need to grow on YouTube for sure, guys. So, this is Brandon Trax Hyatt, my new friend Brian, my longtime friend Dano. Love you guys. Thanks for being my Valentine Day. Sorry, Brandon, he's taken. Both of them are. Signing off with more energy than a Bears kickoff return. Bear down, Chicago. Let's keep the roar and the dream alive. See you guys.